Hi everybody, I'm Hal Weeks, and I am getting all set to set off on a journey about picks. All kinds of picks, thumb picks, finger picks.
Plastic picks, metal picks, Delrin picks, nylon picks, all different kinds of picks, different sizes, different shapes.
And it is turning into a huge task. And I think it's turning into a 3 or 4 part series rather than a short little video about picks. And that's okay. But I had no idea what I was getting into when I decided to start systematically going through picks and sort of reviewing them. And it is not my place to tell you which picks are good and which are not. It's a very, very highly personalized thing. And I discovered a lot in my latest review of picks that I wanted to share with you sort of up front. I created a list of about 9 criteria that I discovered, 9 variables that I discovered just about picks alone that I look at. And so I'm going to share that with you in this opening video. And please feel free to discuss and tell me what you think. Let me go through this list with you. Number 1, tone. What I discovered was that yes, most picks had subtle differences in tone based on the material that they were made of. And sometimes that was a larger or smaller difference. And what I discovered, and this is the way I always check myself, is I take a recorder and I put it several feet away from me. And I record some music using the different picks. And then I listen, because what I hear when I'm playing right up next to my ear is often not really true for the listener. And that's what's most important. It becomes more true for the listener if you take a microphone and stick it right up against your harp, or if you're playing into an amplifier or something. But just acoustically, some of the impressions that you get when you're listening to picks yourself are false. And so what I discovered, I would take these picks and I would compare them and go, oh, this one's a little brighter, this one's a little darker, this one's a little louder, this one's a little bit more plasticky, And then when I would play it into the recorder, I couldn't really hear those differences. Not as much as I thought, okay? There were some that did have distinctly darker tones than others. And I'm going to share that with you as I go through picks and let you hear the differences, all right? So tone was number 1. Number 2, security. When I'm playing auto harp, I want to feel like my picks are not going to slip. As I get going fast, as I get to playing hard, I don't like the feeling of my picks moving. As a matter of fact, I'm extremely fussy about this. Less so when I'm just sitting around the house playing, or if I'm showing a student something in my webcam lessons. That's different. I throw on some picks and do it, and it's all good. But if I'm performing or practicing to perform, I want those picks to be rock solid on my fingers and not move. So I call that security. Are they secure? Do they move around? Do they twist? Do they shift? And I discovered a fantastic answer to this issue. And it's not about adjusting your picks, although there's part of that. It's not about goop on your fingers or dipping your picks in rubber or anything like that. It's not about gluing your picks on. I've done that before. But I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it until the end okay, of the end of probably the finger picking one, because that's where it makes the most difference, is when we talk about finger picks, at the end I'm going to reveal this special new discovery that I've made that's absolutely fabulous for me, that keeps the picks from slipping. So security, that's an extremely important issue. Number 3 on the list, wear. Do they wear down? And do they wear out? And how fast do they wear down and wear out? An auto harp is not a guitar or a banjo. It's like a big cheese grater, okay? The strings are very high tension and they wear our picks down. Personally, I've noticed more pick wear in thumb picks, and I'm going to show you some picks that I've worn down. So wear is important, especially if you end up buying a lot of picks or keeping a lot of picks on hand, because you're going to wear through them. And what is too much wear? It's like you start with a pick, well, okay, when it's new, I don't like it so much. I want to wear it in a little bit. Great, now it's perfect. Oh, that was last week. Now it's too worn. What's too much wear? Okay, what picks are wearing too fast? How fast do they wear? That is an important criteria. Okay, number 4, volume. Okay, this one was deceptive. And I wrote, often perceived volume differences are really pick noise. You get going on something and you go, wow, these picks are really loud. But then you listen to it in your recorder and it's really your picks going clackety, 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 clack. It's not them driving your strings harder. Okay? Now, I did find some picks that were actually louder, not louder pick noise, but they actually drove the strings better. That can be important, especially if you're playing unamplified in a group and you want some more volume. And I have special picks that I use in that circumstance. And so volume is an important one. And the question there is the pick louder or is the harp louder? Number 5, gauge. The gauge of the pick, how thick it is, affects tone, performance, wear, and security. A thicker pick is a stiffer pick. A stiffer pick, when it wraps around your thumb or wraps around your finger, is going to move less. Okay, so the gauge of the pick is important, and it will affect how fast it wears out, and it will affect how loud is it, and how does it perform in fast passages. So that's an important issue. Number 6, the general area I call performance. Can I do the strums I need to do with these picks? Okay, this turned out to be a huge issue for me, because what I discovered, and this is really interesting, is that certain picks I would put on, and in order to let me backtrack a little bit, okay? Bear with me. I have developed a certain kind of playing in my days playing auto harp, but it's not the only kind of playing. And I found that certain picks would drive me into other styles of playing because they required or sort of evoked more delicacy out of me, which was kind of cool. And it was like, okay, this is really cool because it's creating this super light kind of playing, but I can't play really driving with these picks like I typically do. And so I need picks usually that will support all the kinds of playing that I need to be doing, and at the drop of a hat, okay? Because I can't get into changing picks in the middle of a song, certainly, and I don't want to get into changing picks in the middle of a set, okay? For this song, I'm going to wear these picks. For that song, I'm going to wear those picks. That's me. Some people change off depending on what they're about to do. I never know what I'm about to do. So I need a pick that will take me almost everywhere. Okay, so that's an important issue. Performance. All right? So, number 7, the shape of the pick. How wide is it? How long is it? I found personally that if a pick is too long, I end up whacking it on the soundboard of the instrument through the strings. Like I'm coming towards or I'm doing this and my thumb pick goes bang on the soundboard of the instrument. That's me. That's one of the idiosyncratic things about my playing that I need to think about. I can't have a pick be too long, otherwise that comes up. Okay, so how long is it? How pointy is it? How round is it? What, those things affect tone. And also, if you have a pointy pick and you like it pointy, and that's your prerogative, how long is it going to stay that way? This is a wear issue, you see, because it's like, oh, I really like how pointy this pick is because it makes me more accurate. Great. But will it be that pointy next week or next month? And how fast is it going to wear down? Important issue, right? Stuff that you need to think about. So the number 8 is the tip. Is it round, square, pointy? And that affects tone, accuracy, smoothness. Sometimes I found pointy picks are very accurate, but they always have sort of a choppy kind of sound unless you master them. Round picks kind of glide, and I like that. So the shape of the point is criteria number 8. And then criteria number 9, which is my last criteria, and it's a very personal criteria for me, okay? And that is whether I'm performing or not. And here's a big one, and I've heard people mention this before with their picks, and it definitely affects me, and that is when I perform, I undergo physiological changes. I am adrenalized, and I'm amped up, and I tend, and I need to work on this, I tend to overplay. I tend to pick harder and louder and go faster, and I need to rein all of that in, okay? Kind of a different issue, but it comes out in my picks, okay? I find my picks more slippy slidey. The way my picks work in a performance situation is very, very different than the way they work when I'm sitting at home. And it's hard to plan for that because I'll sit at home and I'll go, okay, they're going to get slippy slidey, they're going to feel loose, that's going to distract you, make you feel annoyed, so you got to make sure that they're secure, you got to make sure that they perform the way you want, and then I get on stage and it's all different than I planned. Okay, so this is a longer term issue that has to be worked out with the new picks and the new setups to work on stage for me. And so as you can see, this is a very individualized thing, and I'm probably way too obsessive about it. But when you think about it, picks are literally, I say, where the rubber meets the road, okay? Because they are the point of contact between you and the harp. I have gone on for quite a while here about these criteria for picks. So I think I'm going to make this be just one video, and then we'll get to actually analyzing thumb picks in the next session, okay? So tell me what you think. Tell me, like, leave me notes right here in the comment section on YouTube about what am I forgetting? Or, am I being too obsessive? Am I being too persnickety? Being too picky? Very possibly. I think I am, and I'm kind of amazed as I've gone through this process. I've got 15 thumb picks sitting down here, and I've gone through them all and run all of these different spectral analyses, you know, playing different tones, recording them, listening to them, feeling them. I've taken several of them on stage and played with them, and I've come to my own conclusions about what I like and what works for me. Okay, but you may have comments about this list, other criteria that are important that I've forgotten about, or tell me, what's your favorite pick? Why? How does it support your playing? How does it drive you into new areas? All of these things are open. If you like Stalking the Wild Autoharp and you're getting a lot out of it, please, please, please consider being a patron and supporting Stalking the Wild Autoharp. A few bucks a month, $5 a month, will get you extra video footage. Footage of me practicing, playing, putting videos together, bloopers. I made a lot of bloopers on this one just a little while ago, I tell you what. And you get access to all of those, as well as other things on Patreon. And if you can go more than that, free lessons. I teach lessons through webcam, online, with you, one-on-one. And if you've been to my webpage, maybe you've looked at lessons. If you are a patron, you can get a 10% discount on lessons, or you can even get free lessons. Hit subscribe if you like these videos, if you're not already a subscriber, and you'll get notified immediately when I upload something new, and you'll be able to catch that on a regular basis. So thank you for watching this My Criteria video for playing, and I'm going to take you out with some fancy flat picking here. Next week we'll talk about thumb pick. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week on Stalking the Wild Autoharp. Bye-bye.